Hello and welcome back to Imagination Mansion. On this episode 2 of Building a Story, I am going to be talking about plots. I am going to be trying to unravel the way that I, at least, try and construct my plots. This is slightly difficult for me because the way that I construct plots tends to happen almost all at once. It took me a while while writing the script for this video to figure out what I actually do, because for me a lot of it kind of just arrives in my head. I don't often have a constructive plan in my head of I do this, then I do this, then I do this. From an outside perspective, it all just kind of happens, and because I've been imagining stories since I was a child, my brain kind of skips steps now because it's done it so often. So I had to kind of sit down and really think, how on earth do I construct plots? How do I come up with plots? And then I realized it's by asking the question, what if? So this is like one of the best tools, I think, for a writer or just for anyone creative. What if? You know, because this question can be as vague or as specific and relate to anything you want. So yeah, it could be really mundane, like what if I had 3 friends, one which was in love with me, one who was in love with them, and another that I was in love with but was happily married to someone else. What would happen with that story? What could go wrong? What could go right? Or it could very much go the other way. And this is kind of where I feel a bit more comfortable, which is why the other idea might be very cliche and weird, because I don't know how to write normal things. I am not particularly known for it. So for me, some of the what ifs that have come up recently: a child from the future gets sent to the past. What if dangerous creatures suddenly start lurking in the forest? What if tiny sentient space hamsters are sent up in a rocket? These are the kind of thoughts that spark in my head, spark an idea. And from these questions, you can ask more questions. And you can ask why. Why did the child end up going back in time? Why were the creatures in the forest? Why were the hamsters in space? And from here, how? How did the kid go back in time? How did the monsters end up in the forest? How did they send tiny rodents into space? These questions are what form the building blocks of your story. The plot. So, A escaping B and fighting C. A falling in love with B, but then C returns out of the blue. A invents B, which causes event C, and ends up having to be fought by D. These are obviously very vague ideas, but they are also the start of ideas that can be filled in while you ruminate on the questions of what you want to happen, why it happens, and how it happens. So with me, since my ideas usually come from a scene which plays out while I'm listening to music, a music video, if you will, in my mind's eye, I will tend to have a lot of questions about what I have just watched, because my brain is pretty weird. So let's take an example from before. The sentient space hamsters. Mostly because it sounds cool. So say you are either daydreaming or you're trying to come up with an idea, and you get this little image of tiny rodents in tiny spacesuits stepping out of their teeny tiny rocket onto an alien planet. This would raise a lot of questions, and as you answer those questions, you will start to construct your plot. What are the hamsters doing on the planet? Let's say they're searching for life that can help their homeworld. Why sand hamsters? Why not, the humans or some other creature? It is for the humans that the hamsters are finding help. They've become endangered. How are the hamsters able to go into space in the first place? Humans have adapted other life forms to communicate on a higher level so that they can carry out tasks that the humans are too at risk to risk sending someone from their own species? And from this set of questions and answers, you can start to ask more questions. Dig in deeper. What caused the humans to become endangered? Was it their own greed and stupidity? Was there some big catastrophe? How do they know this mission will work? So, do they know that alien planets exist? Have we started exploring the universe in that way? Do we know that someone is out there? Or are we just at the end of our rope and taking a lucky guess? Why would the hamsters, once able to think on this higher level and be a bit more self-aware, why would they want to help the humans? And if they manage to find any, why would the aliens want to help? And then you can dig in even deeper. Do the hamsters succeed in finding their planet? And if there are aliens, do they agree to help? But are they able to help? Do the hamsters, now they are free of their human overlords that have trapped them in cages for centuries, do they realise, actually, I think I'll just live here and I'm not going home? And do they leave the humans up to their fate? Obviously, this is a very specific example for a very bizarre idea. Welcome to my brain. But the basic construction is there. Once you have that initial what if, and you've gotten into the whys and the hows, you can then start to slot in the who, the where, the when. And then you can see if this who, where, then affects the what, the why, and the how. And that's how you start bulking out your story, and it starts becoming this more constructed story rather than a plot idea, a setting idea, and a character idea. Plot kind of ties everything together. So this was me summarising how I come up with plots. Quite a lot of the time, some of these questions, this call and response is done subconsciously, so you won't always notice yourself doing it. But if you tend to write down ideas or you're struggling for ideas, definitely asking the whats, the whys, and the hows will help you to construct something out of a snapshot into this full idea that you can then work with to form the rest of your story. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because I am going to be trying to make a video every week. And yeah, I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.